Good morning, everyone. Today we start our series on our thinking about Christmas. My name's Julian. This is the Christ Central Morning Devotional, and today's we're thinking about a bit in Genesis. Why Genesis? Well, Genesis is kind of where it all begins, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all a bit of a recap as to where we've got to so far. We're only 3 chapters into the Bible, so it won't take too long. And then we'll look at today's passage, and then we'll think about some things coming out from that. So, what's happened so far? Well, we've seen God create the world. We get light, we get sky from water, we get the creation of land and sea. Lights in the sky, sea creatures, birds, creatures on the land, man and woman. And then God pauses. So that's our first week then. That's our Genesis 1 in a nutshell. And then we have a slight recap in Genesis 2. Pardon me. So we have the garden made, and we have man put in the garden to look after it, to tend it, to name the animals. And then God says, everything in the garden is for man, except you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So this is the one big rule not to do. Because if you do, you will surely die. And then we get the helper, woman. And so man and woman name the animals, look after the animals in the garden, all is good. But in chapter 3, we come across the serpent. And the serpent is more crafty than any of the other wild animals God has made. And he approaches the woman and he says, did God really say? That wonderful deception, plant a seed of doubt in your mind. Did God really say? It's not an outright contradiction of God. It doesn't say God didn't say, but it's just a seed of doubt. Something that worms away inside your brain, something that nags in the background, something that makes you wonder. Did God really say? So we have the deception there. They eat the fruit, the fall, they hide from God when God comes walking through the garden to see them. And so God is understandably cross. And so he speaks to, in chapter 3 of Genesis, God speaks to the serpent, then the woman, then the man. And to the serpent he says, cursed to you above all the livestock and all the wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers. And he will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. And that's our Genesis 3:15 verse today. So, who is this serpent? Well, if we look at the other end of the Bible, in the book of Revelation, we see in Revelation 12 that there's a war in heaven between Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. And it says, and the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan and the deceiver of the whole world. And then again in chapter 20, the angel comes down from heaven with the key to the chain because they're going to put the dragon in the pit. And it says he seized the dragon, that ancient serpent who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. So we see there that the Bible draws parallels between this name of the serpent and the devil is. And Paul refers to, the dark powers that are holding sway over the world. So right back at the beginning, we see this whole setting out of the scene. But then the promise is that Jesus will overcome the devil. So in Hebrews chapter 2, it says, through death, Jesus might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is the devil. Or in 1 John 3, the reason that the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. Or in Mark, if we remember back to Mark a few weeks ago, we talked about Jesus being the Messiah, the Holy One of God, and has the power to destroy the devil. Or in Gospel of John, now is the judgment of this world, Easter, now will the ruler of this world, that is the devil, be cast out. So what we've got here back in Genesis chapter 3 is this promise that a son, someone who is born a woman in the future, will crush the head of the serpent, will destroy the devil. And that is a promise of something big happening. That's changing how the world works. But it's not without consequences, because the serpent will injure, harm, but not destroy the person who's going to do it. Yeah, he will crush your head, but you will strike his heel. So out of this, what do we have? Well, we have this promise made by God right at the beginning of the Bible. It's going to be a promise of a promise of rescue from the control of the devil, a promise of reconciliation of life with God, and a promise of redemption, of freedom from where we've got to. So as we start thinking about Christmas, we've got this promise to remind us right back at the beginning, and something to maybe think about today. Thank you.